Yes.
David. All right, the biggest answer to the question that everyone's been wanting.
Oh, no. What is the question?
Why does C-3PO have a red arm in Force Awakens?
We all want to know. By the way, I love that fact in the movie when he's like, I'm sure you want to know why I got this red arm. But I'll tell you some other time. It's not important.
Yeah, so speaking of another time, this is just a one-off issue. It's a comic that came out by Marvel to explain how he got his red arm. It was supposed to come out the week that The Force Awakens came out. It was pushed back 2 or 3 more times. I don't know why. It's just a comic book. Who cares?
Yeah, but
it came out last week or 2 weeks ago.
So this is part of that Marvel cinematic. I mean, I guess it's comic book universe, but it actually is canon.
This is all canon. Yeah.
So this actually, and most of them take place before Empire and after A New Hope, right?
No, some of them do. Like the main Star Wars and the main Darth Vader comic lines do, but they have an Anakin and Obi-Wan.
They have an Anakin one.
Mm-hmm. Which it's more like them during the Clone Wars.
Did they? Oh, okay, that's cool. I thought they went like little kid with it. I was like, really enough with the little kid.
Lenny. No, they did not.
I want his little friend on Tat or what was the
little Greedo friend?
Yeah, little Greedo friend. I want him to get his own comic book.
They have a bunch of different storylines now, but we finally get to know
why he got the red arm.
It is kind of dumb, but
hold on. Spoiler alert. Gerald's going to say because I haven't read it and I really don't care. So spoiler alert if you don't want to know how C-3PO gets his red arm. Go ahead and tell us.
All right. He goes on a mission. They end up capturing a First Order droid.
Okay.
And they captured him because I guess Admiral Akbar has been captured by the First Order, and so they go and capture this droid.
Wait, let me guess what. It was a trap.
They didn't even explain how. It's like, apparently this First Order droid that these other droids captured has information on where Admiral Akbar is held.
Right.
And it's kind of funny because at the beginning of the comic book, they're treating him like a prisoner, but they're like, aren't you guys just computers? Can't you just download his data into your brain and just kill him or something?
Oh, C-3PO?
Yeah. But anyway, so there's 5 different droids that after they crash land on this planet, there's like a construction droid, there's a couple security droids, and then there's C-3PO who's a protocol droid, and then the guy they stole, which is another protocol droid. Anyway, throughout the comic, droids are dying because like monsters are happening or like creatures are coming up and killing them, all this stuff, and C-3PO's we have to survive, blah blah blah. Anyway,
shuffles his way out of the way.
Yeah, so throughout the comic, as these droids are dying, they're like, oh, this droid sacrificed himself for the greater good. And the bad droid is like, I don't understand that. That's stupid. They're just humans that program us. That's how we know. It's because we're programmed. C-3PO
right.
No, you can choose a side, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, throughout the end of
that's interesting. I like that mechanic of like robots, AI, like picking sides because they're like, oh, we're just programmed to be evil. And he's like, no, you're not. You can be a good guy.
Yeah, that's what C-3PO is saying. There's a couple times where C-3PO is like, I remember certain things. And it had like flashbacks of like the picture of Naboo and like all this other stuff that he's banned in the comics, which is kind of cool.
Because they wiped his memory banks after the prequels.
Yeah.
And he has like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. That's super cool. I like the idea of like, he has like glimpse of like previous like corrupt data. That's super cool. All right, cool.
So by the end of the comic, the First Order droid sacrifices himself to save C-3PO, gives him the data on Admiral Akbar, and it goes out into some acid rain to turn on this transponder. So
and he
it can,
melts.
And he melts, except his arm, because he's a red protocol droid.
Oh.
Except his arm, and then, because C-3PO's arm gets ripped out during the mission by some creature or whatever. Anyway, so by learning self-sacrifice,
It's an like homage
message,
to his, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and then like Poe Dameron and BB-8 land and save him, all that kind of stuff. But
that's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of dumb, but it's cool. I think it's like, why does the droid melt but not the arm?
It's made of extra strong titanium. I guess
so.
It's called a narrative, right?
Yeah, but it is a little thing that kind of teaches droids that they're not just computers that are just programmed to do whatever we want. They kind of have their own thoughts. That's
super cool. No, I like the idea of artificial intelligence and the idea that. That's super cool. I like...
You say that now, Dan.
Yeah, I say that now, and then when they rise up and C-3PO's red arm is what's choking me out.
Yeah, so it was cool. I don't know why it was delayed, but it doesn't really matter.
But you pick up... You get all the comics, right? You've got all of them. How many are there now? There's Poe has his own comic.
Poe just started. I wanted to read it before the show. I didn't get a chance. So the first issue of Poe just came out.
But you would recommend all of them, or?
Yeah, they're all good. They all have their varying successes of like, the storyline kind of sucks. The Leia one wasn't that great. The Chewie one wasn't that great. But... they're all canon. So
I like
I'm gonna read them all.
But my question is, are they obviously or Lucas is in charge of all of this? I guess they're running it all through them because they can't. If it's all canon, they got to be careful, right? I mean,
I think everything's ran through Kathleen Kennedy and those kind of storyboard people to make sure everything kind of fits, kind of like the MCU.
That's very cool.
But anyway, David, what you been up to? What you doing?
I am playing board games. No surprise. But
gasp.
a little bit different type of board game. Me and my wife, Alyssa, started doing Kickstarter preview videos, which has been a lot of fun.
You've seen a couple of them. They're very good, by the way.
Thank
you. Good
you.
acting on both sides.
Yeah. Well, listen. I'm just amazing, you know? I'm waiting for my Kickstarter award. Anyways, I wanted to talk about a couple of them because some people might not check out the videos, and I encourage you to go check those out if you want to learn more. I'm just going to go over kind of some of the games that we got a chance to play and tell you a little bit about them. So the first one that we played was one called that, I love the name. It's called Pie Rats of the Caribbean Farm.
Check this video out for one. Like, pause this. Go to our videos and watch this one. It's short, but it's pretty fun.
And wait till the very, very, very end.
There's
of
a little
it.
end credit tease that David put in there.
There's some real good stuff in there, but it's a card game. It's fun. It's fast. It's very cute. It has the artwork reminds me a lot of like Fievel Goes West and the American Tail. Remember like back in the day? Yeah. Speaking of comics that make you cry, that movie made me cry like a baby. But it's a lot of fun. It's a take that card game. The players are acting as rats to try to steal pies from the farmer's wife's windowsill. Why do we put pies on windowsills?
They're cool.
Why the windowsill?
To get the fresh air. Cool.
It seems like a bad idea. It seems like if you want your pie to get stolen, stick it on the outside of your house. Why don't you just leave it in the kitchen countertop? It seems like there's aerated. Anyways.
It's room temperature. It's cooler outside. I don't know.
The next one that we checked out was called Ilios. This is a really great abstract strategy game. So think of like Go, like the classic Go, or like even like checkers. You know, like the mechanics of it are very simple, and what you're doing is placing tiles down on a grid board to try to take over other people's tiles and then surround them. I used to play a game as a kid called Dots and Boxes. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
It's what poor kids played back in the day. You take a sheet of paper, you put a bunch of dots on it.
Pass between friends so the teacher doesn't grab it.
Exactly. And then you make a single line, and then if you finish a box, you put your letter, like if I'm Team A or you're Team B. And then I remember as a kid, if you finish a box, you get to do another line.
Yep.
So you can have like this, domino effect. This game has a lot of that simplicity of like trying to be the last person to finish off or surround a tile in this game is when you plunder it or that it gets scored. So you not only need to have ownership of that tile when you surround it. So it's like this thing where I'm like trying to push you into filling in the second to last area so I can finish the last one and take over. So it's an excellent game. Again, check that one out. Another one that we had a chance to check out was called Turin Market. This is a auction set collection game. Very, very, very cool. It comes in this really unique small package, so you can take it up with you on the go.
Or you can't read it.
Yeah, Gerald's blind, so he couldn't read the cards. But it's a fun game. I like games that are straightforward and simple. A lot of the time, we play a ton of games, and I enjoy obviously the heavy games, but it takes 45 minutes to get through the game rules. And these games, all of these games so far, they probably take me like 10 minutes to explain the game, and you pick it up after your first or second turn. You'd be like, I get it. But this has an auction mechanic where you actually you bid on cards in the center, silent auction, so you put how much you're going to pay in your hand, and everyone reveals at the same time. What I do like, that usually is kind of a broken mechanic in some games because there's not really an encouragement to bid a lot. It doesn't encourage people to bid. Like someone will bid 100 and one will bid like $1, and it's like, this is broken. But what the game does is if you are in last place as a bidder, then you don't get anything out of the pool, and you lose half of your bid. So you actually encourages you to put more money in because you don't want
to be the lowest.
You do not. You get really, really. It's pretty brutal if you're the lowest. So check that out. It's got a really cool 18th century Italy theme to it. These little laser cut. The currency are called scudo. That's what we yell every time. It's these laser cut on little wooden discs.
Oh, cool.
So it's very, very. The detail in this is. I couldn't be a board game designer because I would just not have the detail for it. But it's amazing. So check out all of those videos. That's what I've been doing all week, and we've got more games coming. So I'm super excited.
Of course you do, David.
Like I said, this is like the biggest scam I've ever pulled. Where people send me their game to check out. I'm like, really?
All I gotta do is just create a video saying
I know.
What's about, right?
Yeah, it's awesome. So I'm glad to help other people because I think Kickstarter is really cool. But those are the three that I checked out: Pirates of the Caribbean Farm, Ilios, and Turin Market. So check out those videos. I'll put links in the show notes and in the video description.
Perfect.
Okay, so let's move on to our topic for this week. If people are following us on Instagram and on Twitter and on Facebook, this week's episode is going to be about cartoons that we loved as kids.